Welcome back to part 6 in our series on enjoying nature. I am Erica Knight, Director of Children's and Youth Ministries at Common Ground. Thank you for joining me for all of these lessons. Today we are going to focus on our relationship with the earth, and today we're going to talk about the universe. What do you think of when you hear the word universe? Now, in case you didn't already know, when we use the word universe, we're referring to all matter, all energy, all space as one whole. We don't really know how big the universe is or all the different things that are within it, but the source of the universe is also our source. There's an affirmation, like some of our lessons have, that says this: I am a child of the universe, like the trees and the stars. Today we're going to be making a craft project to illustrate a little bit about the universe. This is a mobile. As we talk about the universe, here's a little craft that you can do to help you picture it. If you got one of our bags from church, you had several different sizes of squares of construction paper, a 1-inch square, a 2-inch square, a 4-inch square, a 6-inch square, and an 8-inch square. If you didn't get one of these bags, that's okay. You can just grab some construction paper and we'll do this right now. You also got a piece of string. You're also going to need something to write with, a scissors, and some glue. Each of these squares is going to represent the circle around us in the universe. So we're going to start with this teeny tiny 1-inch square. And the first thing that we're going to do is cut it into a circle. You're going to do this with all of the squares, actually. So this blue now circle represents the city that you live in. So on this, I want you to draw a little stick person or smiley face that represents you and write the name of your city. So there's mine. We're going to keep going up our sizes of squares. On our 2-inch square, this is going to represent the country that we live in. So you're going to, again, cut a circle and write the name of the country that you live in. All right, so we're going to glue our tiny circle to our bigger circle, and we're going to label that with our country, just like that. Then we're going to keep going. Our next square is going to represent the earth. So again, you're going to cut it into a circle, glue your smaller circles on, and label earth. Our 6-inch square that we're going to cut into a circle, this represents the solar system. Again, we're going to glue on our smaller circles and label. And our biggest square that we're again going to cut into a circle, this represents the universe. So there are my circles all glued together and labeled. With this black piece of paper, you might need a white colored pencil to really see your label. I just use a regular pencil and it's pretty hard to see. Then you're going to take your string, and there's 2 ways that you can attach this. You can punch a hole in your the top of your black square, or you could tape or staple or glue your string to the back side. I'm going to use my pencil to poke a hole. Then I thread my string through and give it a little tie. And there is your universe mobile. Now you can hang this up somewhere where it can remind you that we are just all part of a bigger universe. Today, instead of reading our discussion questions after I read the story, I'm going to share them with you first so that you can think about them while I'm reading the story. If you could send a message to another planet in another galaxy, what would that message be? What do you think people in another planet would like to know about Earth? Would you like to travel to space in a spaceship? Why? Or maybe why not? Do you think that beings on other planets believe in God? What do you think we could learn from other planets? I am going to read a story today. This is based a little bit about some NASA probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, that were launched in 1977. These probes are still transmitting data back to NASA on Earth so that we can learn about the edges of our solar system. Their journey will continue into deep space. Let's read our story called The Message. Mike's father was a scientist. He wrote books and taught people about the planets and stars, and he talked about finding life on another planet someday. Once he told Mike, the total number of stars in the universe is larger than all the grains of sand on all the beaches of planet Earth. Sometimes Mike would play in his sandbox and think about that. He would try to imagine every grain of sand as a star. One day, Mike was under the dining room table playing with his dinosaurs when his father came home from the university where he worked. Mike could tell his dad was excited. He told Mike and his mother all about an important new project that NASA was planning. NASA designed and built rockets and trained astronauts. NASA had sent astronauts to the moon before Mike was born. Their new project was called Voyager, and they wanted Mike's dad's help. 2 spaceships were being sent out into the universe to collect information and to take pictures. The ships would then send the information back to Earth. There wouldn't be people in the ships, just scientific equipment. These 2 ships would travel for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, and go way out into space where even the astronauts had never been before. Mike wasn't a scientist. He was only 6 years old, so when he realized his parents were going to be talking about Voyager for a long time, he went back to playing with his dinosaurs. As the Stegosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex battled under the table, Mike didn't really pay attention until when his dad said something about sending a message into space. Other kids had parents who talked about cars or football or the latest movies, but at Mike's house, the conversation was about the moons of Jupiter or how long it would take to travel to a distant star. Mike's mom was an artist and a writer, and she was hired to be part of the Voyager team too, so Mike would often hear the adults' enthusiastic voices discussing outer space long after he was in bed. After a while, Mike grew to understand that the Voyager probes were not only going to collect information to send to Earth, but they were also going to carry a message from the people of Earth out into the universe. Perhaps one day someone from another planet would get the message. What would you put on a message that would travel across the universe? Mike's dad was in charge of the team that would decide. The picture and sounds of the message would go out on a recording made out of strong metal and covered in gold. It would be strong enough to survive the long journey through space. Mike's mother drew pictures that would be etched on the outside of the record. The team looked at thousands of pictures from across the planet. They wanted to show what the Earth is like and who the people of Earth are. Eventually, they chose pictures of buildings and people and animals from around the world, images of elephants and donkeys, and even food. Mike thought they should send pictures of dinosaurs, but then he thought maybe the people who found the message wouldn't know that dinosaurs were extinct. They listened to recordings of the sounds of Earth, thunder and rain, ocean waves, and animal sounds. They decided to include the sound of whales and birds singing along with many other nature sounds, including the sound of a kiss. Music was also part of the message, and the team had to choose music from cultures around the world. Mike only heard about some of these things, of course. He was only 6 and not an official member of the team, but he knew it was very important, and the idea that someone from another planet may hear the message someday was exciting. The first part of the record would be greetings from the people of Earth. Of course, they didn't know what kind of language a person from a distant planet across the galaxy would understand, but they wanted to send greetings anyway. So they recorded people expressing friendly greetings in 55 different languages from different countries around the world. One of the languages had to be English, but whose voice should say hello to the unknown person who might find the Voyager ship and play the message? Should it be the President of the United States? The smartest scientist? A famous actress? They chose Mike. His father carefully put the microphone on the table in front of Mike. Are you ready? Mike nodded his head. What would you like to say? His dad asked. Mike smiled and imagined other planets with dinosaurs and space creatures and beings who might be looking across space toward the distant planet Earth. He spoke clearly for the golden record. Hello, from the children of planet Earth. As we close our lesson for today, remember the kingdom of heaven is within you. The grandest wonders of the universe should remind us to look into our own hearts to find the infinite spirit that is within. Repeat this with me. I am a child of the universe like the trees and the stars. I am a child of the universe like the trees and the stars. Amen. Thank you for joining me for this series.